And welcome back to your Purple Pants podcast coverage of the Real Housewives of Potomac season 8. We are back with Jatia Hart Taylor, Dr. Jatia Hart Taylor, covering episode 12.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm heavily pixelated, but I'm doing great.
That is good. Well, do what it do. Of course, we got to get started with some of our updates in the Potomac and Atlanta housewife news. Of course, the first Potomac update is, they might as well just consider your baby boy a friend of the show. At this
Oh
point,
my goodness. I knew
I
you
have
were going to drop this picture, sir. Oh my
I
goodness. Can we say self-promotion? Oh my goodness.
I mean, listen, I've met my girls, the Green Eyed Bandits. They came to Philadelphia for their Reasonably Shady show last week. And of course, I had to go. Shout out to my friend Sarah, who bought me a ticket for an early birthday gift. So it was really great meeting. It was really great meeting Robin and Giselle, my Green Eyed Bandits. It's funny because they're like Giselle gives exactly what I thought that she would give. And Robin was like so friendly. And yeah, they was like talking a lot
Did
of
you see
tea.
anybody else while you were there?
Oh,
Any
and
other?
Miss Ashley Darby was there. She pulled up.
Oh,
Ashley looks
yeah.
great. So it was really just fun to meet them. So it's like, I feel like I've met almost half of the cast. Ashley, Giselle, Robin, and the Grand Dame have all made their way to Philly. But in other Potomac news, we got an update on the Candace and the
Mm.
Michael Darby lawsuit. It looks like the judge has thrown the lawsuit out with prejudice. So Michael cannot reopen the lawsuit. They threw the lawsuit out. So the multi-million-dollar defamation claim is
Wow.
gone. Okay. So
Wow.
and I think that they filmed the reunion already, so it kind of sucks that we don't have that tea. But kudos to Candace on that because that was some BS from Michael Darby. And so that's an update. And then in other franchise news, we know Atlanta is up for this reboot, and we do know Candy announced at the Grammys on Sunday night that she will not be returning to the
Oh,
Housewives. So
now that is going to be a sad little ticket, okay? Because anyway, that's a whole nother podcast. But I think that she will be missed. But they already said they're doing like a big reboot. Well, not a reboot, but they're making a lot of changes.
and a lot of people are speculating. Well, again, there was this false People magazine floating around that Nene and Portia were returning, but we found out that that's false. But with Candy leaving or Candy not being asked back or whatever, it opens the door for Miss Phaedra Parks to make her return. And although it is not Nene, I think a Phaedra Parks return would be amazing for the franchise, just given her stint on Married to Medicine, how well she is killing it on season 2 of The Traitors. I definitely think that we will probably see Phaedra returning as a housewife, in my opinion.
But I think Phaedra would be great coming back.
Yeah, I think that would be great. Like a Phaedra and a Portia, I could be here for that duo. But so I just had to give y'all the updates of these housewife streets. It's one of my favorite little talking points on this podcast. But listen, let's get into episode 12. Not a lot happened, but a lot happened. I think what is more importantly, Giselle and Ashley are gearing up for their G&A launch. G&A, Giselle and Ashley. We do know that will be the season finale, their event. So the more we talk about it, the more we know we're getting closer to the end of the season. We do see Nneka in her home, and she is, working on her bubbly line, Bido. And we finally enters chat. Lebe. We finally get Lebe on our screen. If you don't know who Lebe is, because we know half
you
the
got to know
cast.
she's at the center. She's at the center of everything, Lebe, right? Lebe is the one, who's the connector. How, Nneka says she knows Wendy, but Wendy don't know Nneka. So Lebe comes in and she's giving the connection. She's making it all fit.
She's making it all work together. And Nneka is talking about this unpacking party that she's having at her new home. Her new home is beautiful. It's not fully furnished. Have you ever heard of an unpacking party?
No, I've heard of a moving party where people actually help you move, but unpacking, no. So that'll be interesting. And plus, I wouldn't want people touching my stuff. How do you feel about it?
I mean, if I need help, I'm gonna have my friends come and help me. But I mean, to be unpacking wedding gifts from 2 years ago, like I think is a bit much. But listen, if you try and show your home and North Potomac off, I say show that North Potomac home off. Nneka also talks about how she did get an invite to the Happy Eddie event. And so she feels like that's an olive branch that Wendy is extending. And I mean, I love that. Like, let's get y'all together. Although Wendy made it clear on the last episode, it's not her event, it is Happy Eddie's
Eddie.
event.
And Eddie will
We
be controlling the guest list, not her. She has nothing to do with it. So she says.
We also see Candace with Chris, and where Chris is going to be making his appearance at this Happy Eddie event. And here's the one thing that I didn't necessarily like about this episode, where I felt like they kind of just crunched together all of what the ladies are working on this episode. And I felt like,
Yes.
why are we doing that? Like, y'all could have been showing us all of this throughout the whole season, because Candace lets us know she is an actress and she is filming a scripted TV show, and she's got her acting. We get to see clips or a clip of her on the Deep Space Part 22222 tour. And so it's like, I love seeing Candace on tour. I love seeing her acting. Like, why are we just getting these like 1 minute montages of Candace? Why are we getting this one
The
minute second
facial
of
business. Like, why y'all trying to sell us? I felt like this was like a Real Housewives of Potomac infomercial between the GNA and the Candace and the bubbly and the weed and the everything else like that. So it was a bit much. And I agree with you. They could have spread it out throughout the season, because they had a whole like 2 or 3 episodes that there wasn't a lot going on.
right?
So
We could have seen a lot more from the ladies and what they're doing. But we get to the Happy Eddie event, and again, it brings me back to season 1 of Atlanta, where I think Dwight said it best: "How do you have a fashion show with no fashions?"
no
And
fashion.
apparently, at Eddie's Happy Eddie marijuana event, they're having it at a dispensary, but it's a rolling class. Now, mind you, I ain't that really good with rolling, especially with the papers. But they are going to be rolling oregano. And so
Oregano.
it's just like, y'all sold us on this marijuana event. And again, maybe I know a lot of distilleries or I keep saying distilleries. I know maybe with the licenses, maybe they got the same licenses that Karen has, and that they can't have you smoking on the premises. So that would make more sense. But again, I just felt
No,
like if it
actually, you know what it was? It was that weed wasn't legal when they taped it in Maryland. So it was about to be legalized, but it wasn't legal yet.
okay, because Miles gonna say, well, why don't y'all just go somewhere where it's legal so that y'all like, I just feel like it would have made for such a better episode if we got a little puff puff pass, or if somebody if we got to see them actually smoking.
I'd
But
have watched that, though I
yeah,
am
so
not
would I, like, right? And mind you,
a wacky tobacco partaker, but I'd have watched it. Yes.
the only person I would have wanted to watch was Karen. Okay. I would have wanted to see the
Yes.
grand dame uh
Yes.
on some
But
Happy
she's
Eddie.
sober. I think she's so well. I don't know. I'm not gonna talk for her, but the way that she got lit on that champagne at the bar that one time makes me always want to see her undergo any kind of change. Okay.
Yes. And so the ladies start arriving to the Happy Eddie event. And of course, Candace can't, she shows up, but she can't make it because, well, she can only show up for a little bit of time because she's filming her pilot. And so Chris obviously wants to support Eddie. And so Chris stays. But baby, Karen arrives with her assistant, and Mia arrives. And we know from the text message from last episode where Mia said, listen, I don't do last minute invites. Sorry, but congrats to you and yours. Miss Karen goes immediately in on Wendy and says, girl, what's up? What's the problem? What you doing with all of this? And mind you, again, I have said it once, I'm gonna say it again. Even though I don't really believe or I don't really love Mia's rebuttal, baby, Mia is earning her flower, her peach, her apple, her Potomac spot this
Her
season
blossom. I
because
think they have blossom. She said they have cherry blossom. So she's
cherry
earning
blossom.
her cherry blossom. Yes. Because
Because
she's ready to give it to Karen.
yes, and Mia's like, "How you mad at me? Like, I was a last minute invite. Like, sorry, I don't make last minute invites." Karen was like, "You weren't on the original invite. You weren't a last minute invite. You were a last resort." I was like, "Oh, Karen,
So I'm
Karen."
like, hello, Grand Dame. Hello. You clearly you've not met her. You don't want to comfort her. And like you're not even on her level. That's how I felt like Karen treated her, which I love. I love for her to get down and dirty sometimes and like remind me of who the hell she is.
Yeah, Karen said, "I don't start with the girls, but I definitely will finish with the girls." And then Ashley arrives, Giselle arrives. Giselle kind of like skirts past Wendy and doesn't speak and says hi to the girls. And Wendy's like, "I'm confused. How you come to my event and you not
Your
speaking?"
event.
I was
Your
like,
event.
your event. I thought it was Happy Eddie's event. But also,
Right.
again, Bravo is funny where they show where over the last year and a half, where Wendy and Giselle, when they enter these rooms, they don't speak to each other. And so I thought that was interesting. But I definitely will get on Giselle. Like, whether you like Wendy or not, this still is her husband's event. Like, Jizzy, just say what's up, just say hello. Like, it just gave
Keep it cool
this
for
whole
business. Keep it cool
right.
for business.
But this whole episode gave like, I don't really want you here, but I understand for filming, I need for you to be here because the more people that will be at this event, the more publicity Eddie will get. Also, Giselle is like, I don't really want to be here, but I know I need to film in the group. And so if I don't film in the group, then they're going to ice me out. So it just very, this everybody showing up or like Giselle being there, it really kind of sort of gave like, I'm just fulfilling my contract. I also thought it was interesting at the heat of Karen and Mia, Nneka arrives. Now, I don't know if it's you, but Nneka has very awkward entrances. At Candace's entrance, she was talking on the phone with Wendy, and Nneka was like, hi. And then at this entrance, in the heat of it all, now mind you, I'm gonna give it to my girl Wendy because we know they don't like each other. Wendy's shaded hello for me, I was here for it because I was like, that's how I would greet somebody if I don't really want to greet them. Nneka was like, hey, thank you for inviting me. I'm here. Wendy looked at her. She said, hey, how you doing? Thank you for coming. Like I was here for that
It
Wendy
was
energy.
super shady. It was super shady. It was like I said something, my lips moved, sound came out, but I really didn't mean it, and I wanted to say something else.
Yeah, but again, I live for that type of shade. That's where I could get on board with Wendy, where it's like, listen, I don't really mess with you, but yeah, thank you for coming. I was like, okay, I feel that a little bit in the Wendy. So I was feeling Wendy shade. Now, of course, Ashley, what Ashley gonna do? Stir the pot. Now, stir the pot. Ashley gonna stir the pot because we sit down and uh Gordon has to leave. And after he leaves, Ashley asks Mia, like, so how are things with you and Gordon? And Wendy kind of gives this, we all right type of answer, or
Mia gave that. You said Wendy. But this is why
yeah.
Ashley earns her cherry blossom every year, is because look, she said the show got to be about something. I don't want it to be about me this episode, so I'm gonna start asking questions.
She took a page out of Giselle's book. And yeah, so Mia kind of gives us this weird kind of sort of answer. Another great shady moment. The two best shady hellos. First one goes to Wendy because I gave that. But when Charisse entered the room, Charisse got there first, and we know Charisse and Nneka are really cool. And then when Karen enters the room, she says hello to Giselle, and then Karen says, hello, everybody.
I love it.
And
I love it. That covers it all. Like I said hello to every single person in the room.
yeah,
Like I couldn't get around. The room is so large. I mean, there's so many people here. All of these things. I can't remember everybody's names. Let me give a general shout out to the peoples.
And
I love
shout out to Sharice, aka Shasha, because Shasha said, Everyone hello."
it.
Like it's just like I I mean, we know what the root of the Karen and Sharice beef is, but the way that Karen pays dust, and I mean literal dust to Sharice is crazy.
I thought it was a very, very nice way to acknowledge people you don't want to speak to personally, and I am going to incorporate that into my life. So next time I see you and I just look past you and say hello, everyone.
Hello
You,
everyone.
hello, everyone. Yes, general.
So yeah, that was funny. But also I thought Sharice looked really cute with her little like pajama set that had a little tie thing. I was like, okay, Sharice. And so they are talking, and Wendy kind of gives this like, yeah, like vague answer regarding how her and Gordon are doing. Then we then
Mia
after
gives the bacon.
Mia, I keep saying Wendy. Mia, yeah, Wendy. Wendy is Happy Eddie's wife. Mia is Gordon's husband. Um, After that, we get a day date with Mia and Gordon. And for me, it's like, are Mia and Gordon on the same planet? Because it seemed like two different conversations were happening. We know that they went to therapy that one time, and since the therapy, Mia and Gordon have been trying to
Get
rekindle
their
their
marriage together.
romance
Yes.
and just, be better partners to each other. But it was very clear, Mia in her confessional, she tells us, listen, we go on day dates because we have to go on dates while the kids are in school because we don't have a nanny. And when Mia says we don't have a nanny, like, I think that, in my opinion, she's saying more than that. Like, she's essentially saying the
This,
standard of the
this
level that we
dude,
are
this rich dude
living.
I married because he was rich is no longer rich. And so I do not want to be married to him. Yes, that's what it was given.
And so the date goes from kissy, kissy, kissy to, well, child, I almost got a divorce from you. And Gordon's like, well, I didn't know that. And then Mia's like, yeah, because this ain't really what I signed up for. So they have this quick back and forth. Then they talk about Ashley Darby. And Mia asks Gordon, well, do you think Ashley is ever going to divorce him? And Gordon says, no, why give up the sugar daddy if you don't have to? And they both laugh, and Mia kind of gives a face like, huh. And they then ask each other hypothetical questions as to what will we do in that situation? And Mia very clearly says, divorce, divorce, divorce. And then Gordon says, not so fast. And then the conversation goes down an alleyway that I was confused about because it went
Down
from
the
this.
alleyway, around the corner, and on the next block. That's where it went. It did not, it was like it was way off. Okay.
So it went from being hypothetical to essentially saying if and when, or if we are actually at this point, we are co-parenting our children. We can live in the same house, but we can have an arrangement.
All of this
And
was weird. All of this was weird. All of this was very weird conversation to me. And I was like, y'all just, I mean, their whole relationship, to be honest, has been weird anyway. From him picking her up when she was, slanging surf and turf at the strip club, all the way through. So, I mean, I don't know. I kind of don't expect anything less. I understand, she's like, look, I ain't signed up to be, super mom and super wife. I really wanted that soft life, and the life here is no longer soft. So now she's throwing out hypotheticals, and he's trying to keep her, but it's going wrong. And then their arrangements, maybe what's her name? The friend might be in an arrangement. What's her name? You know what I'm talking about. Mia best
I know
friend.
the friend, I forget her name, but I know exactly who you talk about, who they bought the car for. But
Yes.
again, Gordon seems to very be harping on we could work out a respectable arrangement. Now, again, he isn't saying anything much, but the way that he is talking leads to like a financial arrangement. But us as viewers are essentially saying, like, would we be opening up the marriage? And again, that seems to be something that Mia is not here for at all. She's like, absolutely not. That would never work. And I guess when Gordon originally brought it up, they got into a fight. And so then we fast forward to Nneka's unpacking party, and Nneka's sister is there, and she got her bubbly. And it is interesting
Shout out to the
because
bubbly.
okay, shout out to the bubbly. And again, Nneka makes it very clear that when I do something, I do it very fast. And I started this 4 months ago, and it ain't gonna take me 2 to 3 weeks to get my bubbly out. Well, I mean, I also feel like when a brand approaches you, all you got to do is slap your name on it, girl. It's not like, you go into Champagne, France, and making a. But she makes it very clear that it is tastes like champagne, but it is sparkling wine at an affordable price. And listen, I'm all here for an affordable price. They also
Love
make it
it.
heavily. Now, this is again, I will agree with some of the fans where I feel like in the beginning, I didn't feel like she was making Wendy so much of her storyline. But again, I invited the olive branch Wendy gave me to come to the Eddie party. Now, one, girl, you should have felt her energy when you got there, right? So, in her mind, that's an olive branch. Before we get there, at the Happy Eddie party, Nneka pulls Wendy aside and is saying,
Yes.
like, hey, I love to sit on
What's up?
a 101.
One-on-one. Like their employees, like she a
Like a
manager and an employee
supervisor,
at the same company.
supervisee, like a
Right.
performance evaluation. And again, I'm not mad at Wendy's response. Now, Wendy's response was like, well, girl, you've yet to apologize about calling my mom a witch, calling me a bee. Like, girl, what's up? Now, I was with Wendy there, and then I kind of was with Nneka when Nneka was like, well, girl, you said we've kind of jumped around. And so stage one is let's have a sit down and let's talk. Now, I kind of was with that, but I also felt like, well, girl, you might be jumping around a little bit. How about you apologize to me first and ask for a one-on-one? So I don't know.
Whatever Nneka did, Woody wasn't gonna like. Okay,
Well,
so this is the thing. If Nneka would have walked by her and not said hello, then she'd have been in the bucket with Giselle. But then Nneka did say hello, and she got this rude response. The shadiest hello of all time, right? And then so it's like whatever. She just wants her to bow down to her in some kind of way.
but
Neither is
see,
right. There's different
neither
ways you
is
could do it,
right.
and yeah.
But I also just feel like I get a sense that Nneka wants this victim card, right? Like, first of all, Nneka, it's like, where you and Wendy stand, right? Like, let's just we can coexist. Let's do the Candace Giselle thing. Let's do the Karen Charisse thing. Let's keep it cute. But again, I do get a little sense that Nneka is trying to like let me extend this olive branch, even though Wendy has made it very clear, like, listen, girl,
Oh,
I
come
ain't
on.
messing with you.
In the last episode, Wendy was saying there's steps that need to be taken. Blah, blah, blah. You doing this step before that step. Now the girl's sitting up here trying to take steps. And and now you saying, oh, y'all shouldn't take steps. Like, I mean, you can't
So
have it both
I
ways.
agree, but I definitely feel like the first step is, hey, I'm sorry we got off on the foot that we got off. If I've called you any names, I'd love to sit down with you. I feel like that's step one, not being like, hey, let's
Well,
go out and sit
maybe
down.
when Wendy publishes her new book, How to Apologize Me in the Correct Steps from A to Z, 1 through 3, then Nneka would know that. But at least she is trying, is my point. Like, dang, you got to have a manual to apologize to you. She's trying to do the right thing and be in
I
good graces. So
I'm
whatever.
just
Whatever.
I'm
You
just
gonna complain
saying,
about the girl either way.
I'm mad at Wendy's responses. And then again, I get now. I like Nneka. Y'all know I like Nneka. I do feel like Nneka is trying to be the victim here a little bit because it's like, well, Wendy invited me to her Happy Eddie's thing. So I did extend an invite to my unpacking and she didn't decline. So I'm expecting her to see here. Girl, if she did say she coming, she not coming. Like, you shouldn't even
Now I do agree
like
with you on that. Like she is like she needs to not pay that attention, any attention,
right.
whether she comes or she doesn't come. So what? Who cares?
So yeah, again, I feel like that shouldn't be coming out of your mouth. If people say that she's not coming, be like, oh, okay, I didn't hear from her. But not you leading with that, right? Like now it's given like now you trying to like now you're really trying to make it this windy thing and oh you're trying to be the bigger like yeah no just let it be what it's going to be but we're at this unpacking party and again a lot of the girls are like girl what are we doing here girl I ain't coming to your house to unpack no wedding gifts like huh unless I get to keep it I ain't unpacking nothing and so that was interesting and again Karen and Mia get into it again and Karen is like y'all love to bring up these rumors, or I guess Mia alludes to Karen's situation. And Karen's like, well, how about I bring up some rumors? Y'all have been attacking my institution since I got on this show. Do I attack your institution? What you running around here with a rapper? What you running
Mm,
around here
mm.
having sex with a married man? And everybody's like, oh, a rapper, a married man. Oh my God. But here is why I do love Mia. Although it's like, Mia don't be having her story together all the time. I love when the
You can't
girls was like,
add. She don't know how old she is. Yeah, yeah, all that.
we don't be knowing. But I love when the girls are like, oh, so you hanging out with beep because they bleep it out. And Mia like, you can't be saying his name. Mia's like, we have hung out. We are hanging out. Right. And everyone's like,
I
oh.
love this about Mia. Like when she admitted to her plastic surgery, she just admits to being messy. Even and then when she get called out because she can't add or can't remember, she owns up to her messiness. I love that about her.
And so they're like, oh, does Gordon know? And she's like, well, Gordon's been hanging out with us. And so then I'm like, well, girl, this sounds like an arrangement.
Well, I mean, well, Gordon, first of all, we know Gordon open for the arrangement, because he's trying to keep his candy on his arm.
Well,
So,
is that well
again,
question?
I
Is
like
that
the
what you
messiness.
think it
I'm
is?
here for it.
Do you think that Gordon is really trying to keep his pretty wife on his arm? Or do you think that Gordon does not want to have to split his finances?
Both,
That's more so what I
both.
get.
I think both. I think it's both. But the whole point is she leaving your arm because you ain't got the finances. So I don't see how you're gonna be able to pay her to stay. So I think it's both.
And then Mia talks at the unpacking party that like she loves Gordon. However, like, she is thinking about leaving, but given his family situation, all of his family has turned his back on him. And she's like, what type of girl would I be to leave him? And his family's turned his back on him. But I'm like, well, girl, what type of girl is you to leave him? Because he can't provide you a nanny. And then she goes down this list of all of these things that she's unhappy with. And again, the nanny keeps popping up. It's like that nanny is a big issue
Yes,
for
I'm
Mia.
sorry, but I went on that. Like, hello, yes. If children are a lot. So if you, I mean, I don't have a nanny. I wish I did have one. Call me Mia if you provided nannies or you know how to do that. But the whole point is like if you were accustomed to that and that was like what your foundation was built upon, then it's a lot to be doing them pickups and drop offs and them being in your face all the time, especially if she's trying to do. And the other thing about this is it's probably fallen mostly to her, to be quite honest.
I mean, well, I mean, she's not running the CEO. So if you got most of the time and if Gordon is bringing in most of the income, then it's
What he
like,
doing? He except suing his family. So that's yeah, like that's the thing. So she got the job on the Real Housewives show. He is just squabbling and fighting his family. So yeah, I can see where she's at. I went from doing 5 to 10 hours kissing them on the head before bedtime. Now I'm doing drop offs, pickups, carting them off to lessons and stuff like that. That's not what she signed up for. So like, be careful what you give out in the beginning because that's what you expected to maintain.
so yeah. And then next week we see that we're going on the actual trip, not to Austin, Texas. We're going on the actual trip.
Not
That looks
chicken crap bingo.
not the chicken poop bingo in Austin, but we're going on the actual trip. We do see that Nneka and Wendy have a one-on-one and kind of sort of in the vein of Candace and Robin's one-on-one. It doesn't look like the one-on-one will be very successful. But we will be back next week to keep you posted and keep you covered on everything Potomac and the things that happen in the streets. This has been your Real Housewives of Potomac Season 8, Episode 12 recap. We will work out another arrangement and see you next week.
See you. Thanks for joining. Mwah!
It's the Purple Pants Podcast. You trying to get your snack? You better hurry right back, though. It's the Purple Pants. It's the Purple Pants.